people. It is Lauren and Steph on our way to our transfer. We have to be there at 8:15, and then it's not going to be till 9. So I'm working on my fluid. I brought water and Gatorade because it's really hard for me to drink this much this early in the morning. But I have to drink 32 ounces before I get back into the room, so my bladder is full. And I thought I was going to be doing a vaginal ultrasound, but I guess it's a regular ultrasound, and that's why my bladder needs to be full. Didn't know that. So yeah, are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no idea how many embryos we have. We won't know anything until I get in there, which is a little nerve-wracking. So pray for us. I'm so full of water right now. OMG. Good afternoon, YouTube. It is, what is it? Wednesday? Tuesday. Gosh, I don't even know. It's Tuesday, the 26th of May. Sorry I didn't post a video yesterday. It's been a little bit of a, I don't want to say stressful, but just like, okay. Like, it's done, and so yeah. Obviously, you saw the first few clips of me on the way to my transfer, on the way up, because it's on the 3rd level. I'm sorry, I'm like out of breath. I just went up a couple flights of stairs to get up here because I was looking for my charger, and actually it was right up here, so I didn't even need to go down there. But so yeah, I just wanted to post an update. Got, I guess, kind of a lot to share. So after my last video, you guys know that we had 8 fertilized. We started with 11 retrieved. 9 of those 11 were mature. If you don't understand what that means, basically a mature egg is one that they can fertilize in the lab. An immature egg they cannot fertilize. An immature egg did not go through the final stage of maturation inside of the body, in the follicle, which enables it to be fertilized, so it is not a viable egg. So that's why it's so important to make sure that they time that trigger shot just right so that they can get as many mature eggs as possible. So in our situation, of course, you know, we were expecting closer to 20 eggs, 15 to 20, based on how many follicles. I was naive going through this my first time. That's kind of what I was expecting, and that just didn't happen. So from what I've seen, a lot of women have had similar experiences where they had 20 or more follicles and they only end up with 10 to 12 eggs. So it's not that unusual. The day of my egg retrieval, they told me that I only had 10 eggs, and then the day after, when they called for my fertilization report, they actually told me I had 11 that were retrieved. Didn't make much of a difference though, because only 9 ended up being mature, but thankfully 8 out of the 9 fertilized. So that brings us to transfer day. So my clinic did not do a day 3 embryo update. So going into my transfer day, I was pretty nervous because I had no idea what to expect as far as how many embryos, what the quality was. Like, I just literally went into it completely blindsided. So not that it's a bad thing. I mean, it was fine. it just would have been nice to like go into transfer day knowing that I at least had a certain amount. But even on day 3, some of them will not make it to blastocyst stage 5 or day 5. So basically, I guess I'll just go right into it. So I'm just going to start with how it all happened, like the experience. So we got there. Of course, you guys know my husband couldn't come in. They also would not let me videotape my transfer, which I was upset about, but they let me FaceTime my husband during it. So I guess, whatever, that was fine. It just would have been nice to have that on video. So it wasn't anything too extravagant, but so before I left, I did eat. I was feeling a little anxious, so I didn't eat that much, but it said to have a small breakfast, so I literally just had one piece of toast with some butter on it, and that was about all I could manage to eat that morning because of my nerves. And then on the way there, because they told me to drink 32 ounces of fluid because they want a full bladder for this, so I had brought a Gatorade and a water. Yes, flavored stuff's just easier for me to drink, so I drink mostly the Gatorade, and then I think I probably drank about maybe 10 ounces of water. So I think I actually ended up having more than 32 ounces. And my actual transfer was scheduled for 9 a.m. We got there at 8:15. I went up, as you saw, I walked in. They took my temperature like normal, and then within like 2 or 3 minutes, they called me back into the room. She's like, "How's your bladder feeling? Is it feeling pretty full?" And I said, "Not just yet. It's actually, I don't really even feel like I have to go to the bathroom yet, but I know it's gonna come all at once because I had drank all that fluid and it was just kind of processing." So she's like, "Well, okay, your doctor's supposed to be here right around 9. At that point, it was about 8:20. So she's like, "So we're going to give you Motrin and Valium." And the Valium just to help relax your uterus and kind of you for the procedure. And the Motrin's just for any cramping or pain that you might have afterwards. So I took those. I actually ended up eating a few crackers there too because I didn't want to feel sick from taking Motrin because I didn't know if I had eaten enough, and I was like, I don't need that on top of everything else. So I asked them to give me a few crackers to coat my stomach just to make sure that I had enough food in there for the Motrin and the Valium. I had never taken Valium before, so I didn't know how I was going to feel taking that. Which, by the way, I didn't even feel any different. I don't feel like it did anything, but maybe it was such a low dose. I mean, maybe it wasn't enough for me to feel it, but maybe it was helping my muscles relax. I don't know. So all I know is I did not feel relaxed during the transfer part of it, and I'll explain why in a minute. So after they gave me the Valium, you know, I got dressed into my gown, put my hairnet on, and my little sack covers and everything, and they covered me up with a warm blanket. And it was probably around 8:50, and I was starting to get really uncomfortable as far as my bladder. And my doctor was supposed to be there in the next 10 minutes. She's like, "Just try to wait till 9. If he's not here around then, we'll let you empty a little bit." So I was like, okay. So I went to the bathroom, emptied a little bit at around 9, and just a little bit though, because I figured, okay, he's going to be here any minute. Well, 9:15 rolled around, he still wasn't there, and I was like, okay, I don't know how much longer I can hold this. I mean, I don't know if I'm being a baby, but having a really extremely full bladder is one of the most uncomfortable things in the world. I was just like, please, lady, like, where's the doctor? So she actually texted him, and she said he was running a few minutes late. I'm like, well, you think? So he didn't end up showing up till around 9:30-ish, a little after. And by that time, I was very extremely uncomfortable, and I was a little upset that they made me wait that long with a full bladder. But it is what it is. So in the meantime, while I was waiting for the doctor to show up, I said, does anyone know anything about my embryos? Because no one has told me anything I have literally no idea, and I'm about to go into this transfer. I'm assuming there is some because I'm going into a transfer, but I don't know anything about the quality of them. I don't know anything about how many there are or how many they're waiting to see if they'll, whatever, because I know a lot of people's go past day 5 into day 6 and 7. So, I was a little concerned. So they're like, well, let me see if the embryologist can come out and talk to you really quick. So this very lovely embryologist named Lee, I believe, came out, and she had my file and everything, and she's going over everything. She had a little bit of an accent, so I had a hard time understanding her part of the time, but she was very sweet. She said, what can I help you with, and what questions do you have? And I just said, so I'm deciding whether I want to put 1 embryo or 2 embryos. I kind of want to know how many we have, what the qualities are of the ones we do have, and if there's any still waiting to be checked out. And she said, so right now you have 3 that have made it to day 5. They are healthy blastocyst embryos, and we are waiting on 4 more to see if they will fully develop the way that we want them to by days 6 or 7. So she said, any of these 3 would be an option to transfer today. She said, I have a recommendation of the best quality one. So the 3 that we had that were ready on day 5, one was a 4AA, the second was a 4AB, and the third was a 3BB. So the way I kind of looked at the grading scale of it is anything, so basically 6 is the best, 5 is the second best, and 4 is the third best, and that's all in the excellent category. And then it goes by A, B, A, and then BB. So what I learned about the number is that the number equals the size, is like how much it expanded in growth. So the larger, the better. Typically, blastocysts that are 4 and above have started to hatch on their own. And so not all of them, but most of them have started to hatch, which, if you don't know what hatching is when the egg starts to break out of the zona pellucida, I believe it's called, and that is the outer shell that the sperm would normally penetrate through, but that gets thinner and thinner as the blastocyst grows, so it's more likely to implant if there's already some hatching happening, because the egg is already starting to kind of open up and try to look for a spot to implant. So one of ours had started hatching a little bit. The other one had not. But we had the one 4AA, the one 4AB, and the 3BB. So 3 is still considered good quality, but the BB is the worst out of the grades for the actual embryo. So I'm going to go over what the A and B and all that. So the A, it's just like a report card. A is best, B is second best, C is not the worst, but almost the worst. D is not good at all, very low quality. So what they're grading is the inner cell mass, which I'll show you pictures of in a minute. The inner cell mass is the little part that becomes the baby, the fetus. And then the second letter, so like A, 4 is the expansion, A is the inner cell mass, and then the second A of our first embryo is the trifectoderm, which is the outer part of the embryo, and that is what becomes the placenta. So basically what they're looking for is very over 100 cells, tightly packed in the inner cell mass, and also tightly packed in the trifectoderm. And I'm sorry, I'm not an embryologist, so this is all kind of like, whoa. but I kind of learned all this after the fact. I hadn't really researched what the grading was. I knew that the A's were better and everything, but I didn't really know what it meant. So BB, it's not the worst. CC or DD or whatever would be worse. BB is the lowest on the good end of the good quality. Anything below a 3BB is considered poor quality. So a 3BB is still good, still viable. I was reading some things that said people that had 3BB still were able to have healthy babies from those, and they had babies from doing a single 3BB transfer. But you obviously have a better chance statistically with a higher quality embryo and one that's hatching. So basically, to sum it up, we have 7 total that kind of made it past the original fertilization stage. 3 of them were ready to be either froze or implanted, transferred by day 5. The other 4 are still being watched. Today is the day after transfer, so they told me to give it till tomorrow, which would be day 7, to call and see how many of those 4 have developed, if any of them have developed into embryos that would be able to be used later on or frozen. So I was a little upset that only 3 out of the 8 made it to the day 5. But we did have 2 really good quality and we had 2 pretty much excellent quality and 1 good quality. So I was pretty happy with that. And again, I apologize for my appearance. My throat's a little bit like, we turned the air on and we've had like fans going because in Michigan it suddenly went from like 50 degrees to like 88. So our bodies are like, what? So anyway, my throat's a little like, so I'm just going to grab a little lozenge. So anyway, we did our transfer yesterday. We ended up transferring 2 embryos. We did our 2 best quality. So we did the 4AA, which was hatching, and we did the 4AB, which was not yet hatching. So we didn't have anything above a grade 4, but they said those were really good. So I was happy with those 2 being really good. I did find out something, and I'm kind of freaking out about it. I don't know how much it matters, but I misread the instructions on one of my sheets about the dosage of progesterone that I was supposed to be on the 5 days before my transfer. It said 2 milliliters, and I was only doing 1 milliliter per day. So the progesterone is very important because it supports the pregnancy and the uterine lining and everything to promote a good atmosphere for implantation. So it's not like I wasn't on progesterone, so I'm hoping I had enough progesterone plus the supplementation. But on the day of my transfer, they confirmed, like, and you're taking 2 milliliters? And I'm like, no, I was only taking 1. And the nurse was like, okay, so you should have been taking 2, but up your dose today. Like, even today when you get home, do another dose of the second 1 milliliter. And then from then on out, you need to do 2 milliliters per day. So guys, if you get a protocol, just make sure you're looking very closely. Because originally my script had said 1 milliliter per day. And then after they sent me instructions, they told me 2 milliliters. And that was based on my progesterone numbers when they took my blood at the last ultrasound. So hopefully it doesn't make too much of a difference. I've been on 2 milliliters now for 2 days. I did it yesterday and today. So hopefully that is okay. And then I'm doing the Vivel patch, the estrogen patch, and the 2 tablets of estrase per day. So I think I should still be okay. I looked up a lot of people's protocols, and a lot of people had said that they were doing just 1 milliliter per day of progesterone before the fresh transfers, and even some frozen transfers too. So I feel like I'll probably be okay, but they're probably just wanting me on 2 to make it even better. So hopefully I didn't screw anything up. If it doesn't work, I'm going to think the whole time like, yep, it was the progesterone. It was the progesterone. Even though it probably won't be. But so anyway, that is basically the gist of it. The actual transfer itself was very simple. They take you in, and just like when you went for your egg retrieval, they put your legs up in stirrups, you're in a gown and everything. It's a little bit more uncomfortable this time because, number 1, you're awake, and number 2, your bladder is insanely full. So before they did the transfer, they did an ultrasound of my bladder to make sure it was full enough. She's like, yep, your bladder's definitely full enough. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And then after that, they asked me how many embryos and which ones, and I said I want to do the 2 highest quality. So then the embryologist went and put them under a microscope in the lab, put my name above it, and made sure I verified everything. And she showed me the 2, and I have pictures of those, which I'll add in here. And she's like, okay, so we're doing 2 embryos for Lauren Jacobs. Oh, I have to bleep that out. Can't have that. Can't have my full name on here. Although my Instagram says my full name anyway, so whatever. So yeah, so that was it. They verified my life in class 4, my social, date of birth, all that good stuff. And then what they did was he inserted a speculum just like in a pap smear, and he cleaned my cervix. Then he took the catheter and he positioned it, and I could see on the ultrasound the whole time. And he positioned the catheter in my uterus, and then the embryologist came with a little syringe loaded with both my embryos in it. They inserted it into the catheter, and then he placed it into my uterus, and I could see everything happening. And then after the transfer was done, they took the catheter out and the syringe thing, and they looked at both under a microscope to make sure that both embryos had gotten out of the catheter and the thing. And they both confirmed, yes, both embryos have been successfully put into the patient. And then he took everything out, and he's like, we're done. So after that, she said, all right, I just need to have you initial a couple things here and here, and then I'll let you get up and go to the bathroom. And I said, thank you, Jesus. Because at that point, I almost peed. I think I said during the transfer, I'm really sorry if it looks like I'm not relaxed. I'm trying really hard to relax, but not so much that I pee on you. And he was like, you're doing just fine. Relax. You're all good. We're almost done. So yeah, it was kind of funny. But, so afterwards, yeah, I pretty much ran to the bathroom. Went to the bathroom. Took a good, 1 whole minute to get all of that out. And then they had me lay down for 30 minutes, and they put a warm blanket over me. And I just relaxed, and then I called my mom, and I called Steph, and we just kind of talked about what happened, and then I got in the car and went home. So yesterday I pretty much just hung out in my bed all day for the most part. I wouldn't say I was on bed rest, but I didn't really go up and down the stairs very much. We have a tri-level, so it's kind of hard for me to not go up and down the stairs. Because every time I need to eat, I have to go downstairs and get food, and then if I have to go to the bathroom, I have to come either to the upstairs or downstairs level. But they didn't say that I couldn't go up and downstairs or anything. I know I've heard people say, oh, I didn't even go up and downstairs or anything, but I really don't think you need to be that crazy about it. The embryo's not going to fall out. It's there. It's not going to fall out. So, what else? Yesterday I was so hungry, I swear I ate a million things, bad things I shouldn't have eaten, but it was amazing. We got Mexican food, and I ate so much, and then later on that night, we had a bonfire, so I just sat by the fire outside and enjoyed that, and Had some more chips and salsa and queso. I was a cow yesterday. So, but yeah, and it's been really warm the last few days, so I haven't had an issue with staying warm. Everyone's like, don't overheat, but stay warm enough and keep your feet warm. So, like, good Lord. But, I had quite a bit of cramping last night, I noticed, when I was trying to fall asleep. And I don't really know why. I didn't really have any cramping right after the transfer. I did have a little bit of cramping last night, and I'm trying not to let my brain go like haywire. But it could just be all these hormones I'm on. It could be implantation. It could have been just normal cramps before, like, your body would normally start a period. Like, your uterine lining is thickening and all that. So I have no idea what it was. But my doctor said it's normal to have cramping, and it does not indicate successful pregnancy or not. It could be implantation, but it could not be. And some people have spotting if they implant, but some people don't. So they're like, don't look into it. Don't read into all these symptoms that you're having. Just try and relax and remain calm. Stay hydrated. I did eat pineapple yesterday and the core. And then I also ate some today and the core. And then I have a little bit left in the fridge. I don't have any more core left, but I have a little bit left in the fridge for the pineapple, so I'll probably have that tomorrow. So, other than that, I don't think there's anything else really to say. So now, obviously, I'm just waiting to call tomorrow to see if any of the other 4 embryos have made it to day 6 or 7, and waiting to see how I'm feeling over the next 5 or 6 days, and waiting till probably at least 7 or 8 days past transfer to take a test. That's gonna be stressful. I have... What? Yeah, I'm doing a video. I'm having a lot of breast tenderness, but that's been going on for like the last 10 or 11 days. So I think that's just all the hormones, especially the progesterone. But I'm going to add 2 videos at the end of this where I did go to McDonald's after and get some fries. So that should hopefully help. That's like an old thing. And so hopefully, I guess that maybe I'll post an update. I don't know, maybe in 3 or 4 days if I'm having any symptoms, or if I found out the results of the other 4 embryos. But as you know, during the 2-week wait, there's really not a whole lot to update people on, because it's all kind of just like up in the air. It's like the hard part's done now, so let's just see what happens. If you watch this far, you have to keep watching for the next like minute and a half of the video, because otherwise you're gonna miss out on something really funny, right?
Yeah.
So keep watching.
Sure.
That way, how can I help you?
Oh, that's okay. Can I just have a large French fry, please?
Just a large fry?
Yeah.
With salt
Just like with salt on it, I guess.
and a side of ketchup.
With what?
With salt on it?
It comes with salt.
Oh, good.
You want extra salt packet?
Yeah, I appreciate that. And then a couple sides of ketchup too.
Ketchup?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. That's $2.97 first window.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can't say with salt on it. They come with salt.
Okay, well, sometimes I get them and they're not salty enough,
Well,
and then it's just, what even is that,
That's
you know?
crazy. You have money or what?
It's you. You
Who's
got your
paying for
wallet.
this?
You got your wallet.
I have this like thing right here for $1 off, where you can scan it. Here she is, eating her fries right after. All right, she got extra salt on them.